So I woke up in a good mood recently, and I had a message on my Facebook comedy page. It was from a man in Slovakia. The message was simple. It said, "Hey, you suck and you look like a potato." Devastating to find out the real reason my Irish boyfriend's attracted to me. Text my boyfriend, upset, and he went, "The most beautiful potato I've ever seen." Went on for 4 months. He messaged me, he messaged my agent, he messaged a few comedians. The message was always the same. Fern Brady looks like a potato. Every time I told my friends, this is the worst thing. Anytime I told my friends, they all had the same answer. The answer was never, "It's okay, you don't look like a potato." They all said the same thing. Every single one of them went, "Well, I love potatoes."
My name's Vittorio Angelone. And that's not how you're supposed to say that. It shouldn't be in a Belfast accent. There's no one in Naples going, "Vittorio Angelone." That's not right. But I can't say it right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I physically can, but it would be fucking stupid. If I came on stage and was like, "What's the crack? How's it going? My name is Vittorio Angelone." It's like, and my hand just does that for some reason. I can't stop that from happening. Sounds like a fucking Dolmio ad. It's fun being called Vittorio Angelone doing stand-up. There's often a compere at comedy clubs and they welcome all the acts to the stage. And I do that job quite a lot. And I always take extra special care to make sure I pronounce everyone's name correctly. I think that's the kind thing to do. I'm not afforded the same kindness by my colleagues. They fuck it up so much that I've had to pre-record me welcoming me to the stage for the start of the show because I don't trust anyone anymore. Welcome to the stage, Vittorio Angelone. It's not that hard. One time a guy went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Vittorio Angelone." Which isn't right. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. One time a guy went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Vincenzo Alabaluzzi." Which isn't a name in any language. I Googled it, there's no Alabaluzzis anywhere. But neither of those are my favorite. My favorite is a guy who brought me to the stage, tried to pronounce my name, and gave up in the middle. Because he went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Valentino." Which I thought was quite honest of him on some level. I kind of appreciated it.
Scottish people have this strange ability. They can describe somebody as a homosexual by using any noun. "All right, is that guy a bit of a blueberry? There's a set of maracas over there." English people can do it, but they can only use activities to describe somebody as gay. Be like, "Oh God, he's the kind of guy who likes to leave the windows open." "Oh, Barry loves a fundraiser." "Bet you wear your slippers round the house."
Well, that's the thing, because I have a thing in me. I don't know, 'cause I grew up with religion. Like, I need to believe in shit, you know? I just have that in me. I need to believe in shit. You know, like, I think being an atheist, that's for successful people, you know? Like, that's for people who refuse to drink tap water, you know? Like, these kind of people, that's what it's like to be an atheist, you know? Like, I share a toilet with 3 drama students in a shithole in London. I need to believe in magic, you know? Like, I need it.
I cannot think of anything more sexually terrifying than going to bed with someone with a Belfast accent. Just put your trousers next to mine. Lay back, I'm gonna blow you away. That's scary.
I'll say this, I like doing small shows like this. This is a lot of fun. Lavery's Comedy Club right in the centre of Belfast. I love this. Distinct lack of security presence. That's one thing I quite like about the big shows. Men in high-vis jackets at the front of the stage. You know, comedians nowadays on edge. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. To the point where, like, I might need just people that sort of work for... Like, what's your name, mate? Cameron, you're working tonight, so you That's your flank, you know what I mean? That's your side. Remember the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock thing? I need you to just keep your head up, like you're in the city centre and there's a wee rap man about to nod your feet. What do you do? What do you work at, Con?
I'm a restaurant manager.
You're a restaurant manager? What's the restaurant? McDonald's? Guys, I've got this. When you say restaurant manager, I'm assuming you're pouring wine like this. Does it taste? You actually said restaurant. You didn't pronounce the T. You're not loving it right now.
I was over in Ireland there, man. I was doing a gig in Dublin called Waylands, and I fucking love Ireland so much. It's embarrassing being there as a Scottish person, but because like they're their own country, they're independent, they've got their own money and their own government and their own crisps. We've kinda got McCoys, but no really, do you know what I mean? It's so cool. I just feel it's embarrassing, man, because they're an independent country. Obviously, they tried harder. They put a shift in. I was over in St Stephen's Green in Dublin where they done the Easter Rising in 1916. People fought and people died for independence, man. People put their lives on the line. And over here we were like, we would like to be asked if we would like to leave. And they were like, do you want to leave? And we were like, never mind. It's okay. I just wanted to be asked.
Johnny! Johnny! I'm over here! I can't see you through the snow! Follow my voice! Johnny! Johnny! Yes! Yes! I'm freezing! This is the worst stag do ever! What? Mount Everest was a shit idea for a stag! Yeah! I think you're right! I'm the worst best man ever! Where's Kenneth? He's dead! Ow! He froze to death! Why? You made him wear a mankini!
It's terrible being an intelligent woman trapped in a Scottish accent and living in Ireland. I didn't know this was my voice till I moved to England, right? In my head, I talk like Stephen Fry, and then moved down south and started going into shops, and people just looked at me like a dog was barking at them. So I've lived there for 10 years, and it's largely great. The shops are open for ages, but one of the hardest things is every day for the last decade, what my English friends love to do to me is repeat what I'm saying back at me in a bad Scottish accent. And they always have a look in their eyes like, she is gonna love when I do this. Every day. I've got one friend that does it all the time. Her name's Hayley. She's always like, Fern, this is my impression of you. Hello, I'm Fern Brady! Thanks, Hayley. I feel so comfortable. This is my impression of you. Please don't tell everybody about the time I gave everyone at uni chlamydia. Sorry, still not getting that Cockney accent, you fucking okay. I never really thought much about being Scottish. Then I moved to England and I became Scottish Fern, and then you realise that you're meant to live up to this cartoon version of Scottishness where you're aggressive, a drunk, allergic to salad, right? Yous all know the drill. It's hard for me to live up to this, right? Because I'm quite quiet off stage. Salad, can't get enough of it. I was considered almost quite middle class growing up here. Scottish middle class, not English middle class, right? Scottish middle class is where you've been on a plane once and mum makes you eat fruit regularly. Don't like drinking either. This is quite a weird thing to say as a Scottish person and a professional comedian. I don't like alcohol. And not because I'm a recovering alkie or anything. I just don't need drink to make me blunt and offensive in social situations. Guys, that is a gift I have naturally. Here's another thing. Be jealous immediately. Never needed alcohol to make me a slut. I seem to accept early on in life I enjoy pumping sea monsters. Why bother with the health risks of alcohol? Big time stoner. Who needs memories? Turns out me for this job. Oh man, I love to smoke joints, but I've had to quit it for the sake of my job because my memory was getting so bad I had to Google the phrase double bike because I no longer knew the word for tandem. I've been smoking heavily for like a year and I was like, all that stuff about memories is just government conspiracy theories. And then I went to say the name of I've been going out with the same person for 8 years, so I know his name, right? His name's Connor. I went to say his name and I thought, is this cunt even called Connor? Who knows? Just act confident. See, when I was growing up, whenever I saw Scottish comedy on telly, it seemed to rely on slagging off Scotland, and it was a kind of shtick that was like, oh, aren't we all just fat, illiterate bastards eating chips out a bin? That's what it was, right? I don't like slagging off Scotland. I'm not comfortable with it, apart from one crucial thing, and that is the world of Scottish amateur pornography. Which I made the terrible mistake of watching. This is a real category of porn. I'm not making it up for the show. Don't watch it. But a lot of you are drinking, you easy. He's cheersing, he's seen it. Scottish porn's the most depressing porn I've ever seen. Comes a close second to Russian porn, and at least in that they're skinny, but it's in that bleak, we did this for a piece of bread kind of way. I've watched literally every Scottish porn on the internet for the purposes of this show. Some of the clips, you're like, how can I even tell these people are Scottish? There's not much dialogue. Let me tell you, I knew. With a depressing inevitability, I knew my own people. Because it was just pale, hairy white bellies smashing against each other in close up like water balloons filled with yoghurt. Every few seconds, a wee voice off camera would go, oh, aye. Or memorably, tug on my pubes, Rona! I clicked on this Pornhub clip. It said, Scottish girl fucked in London. When I put it on, literally just footage of me paying £1,000 a month to live in a basement. And I watch like amateur stuff rather than slickly shot professional stuff because it's more ethical. That's what a hipster am. It's more ethical. What they lack in muscle tone or symmetrical facial features, they make up for with a large degree of enthusiasm. You know what I mean? I can see who watches it, yeah. I've had to stop watching it and go back to the professional stuff. I'll tell you why. Firstly, can't control the soundtracks in people's homemade sex tapes. I had to turn off someone's amateur porno because they were playing the song Everybody's Changing by Keane in the background. Oh, which will come first, climax or me killing myself? Here's another thing. I don't judge any of you if you want to make a sex tape, but for the love of God, would you lock up the pets beforehand? You know the number of times I've just sadly closed my laptop during a porno? Because there's been a couple pumping away in the foreground, really happy, really oblivious to just the sight of their proud cat sauntering in the background. Meow! This is my time to shine! I put one on the other day. It had a couple were just dry humping American college amateurs, and in the background there was just a sad little Yorkshire terrier. Dogs are pure innocence and goodness, just looking at them like, please take me a walk. I watch lesbian porn, mostly because straight porn is largely made for straight men, so it'll have these blowjob scenes that go on for 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. Well, why don't I just watch someone file a tax return? Men in the audience, do you hear how many more lady laughs are coming after that bit? I have like a list of little tasks that I need to get done round the house, and the one that never gets done, and I feel bad about it every day, I always think about it, is whenever I put a porn on, I'm at the beginning of a wank. It's another fantastic day as a self-employed lady. I think it'd take you seconds to put some blue tack or a bit of tape over the camera of your laptop, and you never do it. And one day someone's going to hack into my laptop and steal footage of me wanking. That's the thing, yeah? Then it's career over or the start of a glorious new career. This is what stops me doing it, I think. Don't flatter yourself. Realistically, who's going to want to watch footage of a 33-year-old woman in full winter pyjamas? Sheets pulled up to my chin because I'm a Catholic. Don't want Jesus to see. Or my dead grandparents' dirty voyeurs. Triple chins, just... completely dead-eyed. Who needs facial expressions, man? Facial expressions are for when you're with other people. There's a market for that, though. There's a market for dead-eyed Scottish women in porn. I know it. Whenever I get asked to describe my comedy, I always say it's accessible, observational stuff, suitable for the whole family, right? Then you start reading descriptions of yourself over the years. Mine's are always consistent. They're always blunt, brutal, forthright. I don't read reviews, but I saw one by accident recently. It opened with, Fern Brady scares me. That was a nice review. Who's this scary woman they're talking about? I'm a lovable, nice girl. And I'd always wondered why people thought I was aloof. And then I was doing a show in Berlin, and a woman came up to me at the end, and she said, just so you know, your entire set is a description of a woman with Asperger's. You should look into it. One guy just laughed there like, oh, thank God she realises. It was the 10th person that had said it to me, right? One of them was me into the mirror every day. Looked into it, started getting diagnosed. I'll be honest, guys, it's not a huge surprise. I've always felt like an alien trapped in a beautiful woman's body. The rest of the show isn't a poignant unpacking of the diagnosis and how I came to terms with it, and then we all have a little cry. No. I'll just tell you where it affects me, right? I thought it'd be cracking to get to a point in comedy where people recognise you for your comedy and say they like your stuff. Then it started happening, and I was like, oh, I forgot I don't have any social skills off stage. A guy came up to me in the airport. He was like, hey, I've seen you on YouTube. I really like your stuff. In my head, when this happens, I'm always like, thank you so much. The way I responded to this guy, however, was by silently holding out both my hands and holding both his hands and just smiling in his face dementedly, like Kate Middleton when she meets a heroin addict at the opening of a community centre. Don't let that put you off chatting to me after. Just know I've been coached in how to talk to you by my autism therapist, Jemima.
It's fun being called Vittorio Angelone doing stand-up. There's often a compare at comedy clubs, and they welcome all the acts to the stage. And I do that job quite a lot, and I always take extra special care to make sure I pronounce everyone's name correctly. I think that's the kind thing to do. I'm not afforded the same kindness by my colleagues. They fuck it up so much that I've had to pre-record me welcoming me to the stage for the start of the show, because I don't trust anyone anymore. Welcome to the stage, Vittorio Angelone. It's not that hard. One time a guy went, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Vittorio Angelone. Which isn't right. It's not my favorite. One time a guy went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Vincenzo Alabaluzzi," which isn't a name in any language. I Googled it, there's no Alabaluzzis anywhere. But neither of those are my favorite. My favorite is a guy who brought me to the stage, tried to pronounce my name, and gave up in the middle. Because he went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Valentino, Which I thought was quite honest of him on some level. I kind of appreciated it. I didn't get called Vittorio growing up in primary school. Belfast's a very good place for nicknames. I had a nickname in primary school because in primary school, I had a lot of struggles with anxiety attacks. Do you know what they called me? Panicking Skywalker. Which is just great bullying. You gotta respect it. That's top level work. It's actually only the third worst nickname I've ever heard from Belfast. Number 2, there was a guy in my class called Donal. And do you know when you were younger and your mum used to cut your hair? Not a lot of poor people in, don't worry about it, that's fine. Basically, Donal's mum was doing the buzzer up the back, and she accidentally went too high. So she had to give him a full skinhead, like bald. Do you know what we called him for 10 years? Shmuel. You know, like out of the boy in the striped pajamas. That's a bit much for some people in the audience. My primary school was fine with it. Even the teachers in the register were like, "Shmuel, here, okay, he's fine." That's true, he's a dentist now. He puts the gold fillings into people's teeth. If you're upset about that joke, I think you're right. I think it's good that you're upset. That's probably a good thing that you're upset. It is funny that you're upset. Because it is number 2 on the list. Number 1's my dad. The worst nickname I've ever heard is my dad. My dad grew up in Belfast, but he is Italian. Do you know what my dad got called in primary school? My dad got called the N-word because he was the darkest person anyone had ever seen. Don't know if you can tell by my face, but he's a white man. Puts my dad in a very strange situation, though, because he got called the N-word for a long portion of his life. So he thinks he can say it. He's like, "I'm reclaiming it. I don't think you are, Dad." It's good you're laughing. All your dads think they can say it as well. At least mine has an excuse, you know? No, my dad doesn't think he can say the N-word anymore. It's like my dad's listening to hip-hop, like, "She take my money." I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing. No, my dad doesn't like hip-hop. I like hip-hop. We have arguments sometimes, me and my dad, but I think he's starting to win the argument because hip-hop confuses me. Every hip-hop song now just seems to have a voicemail in the middle of it. Right in the middle of the song. It'll just be like, "Hi, Kendrick, it's your mom. Just leaving you this message to say, keep striving for greatness and always believe." Where's Kendrick Lamar getting all these inspirational voicemails from? You know, if I put my voicemail on a song, do you know what it would sound like? "Oh fuck, sorry." And that's all they ever are. You can't make hip-hop out of that, unfortunately. I do admire racists in Northern Ireland. It's good to have heroes, no? I just admire people that have tough jobs. That's a tough job. Being a racist in Northern Ireland, it's such a white place that they have nowhere to put their racism. So they saw my slightly tan dad and were like, "That'll do, we're in, we're doing it." It's such a white... Northern Ireland is such a white place. And people don't believe me. It fucking is. It's... Just ask Liam Neeson. If you don't remember what I'm talking about, Liam Neeson, on TV, in an interview, decided to tell a little story. He told the story about how his friend had been assaulted by a black man in Northern Ireland. And in his very Liam Neeson way, he went, "So I got a bat. And I walked through the streets of Northern Ireland for 2 weeks trying to find some black bastard to beat the shit out of. Liam Neeson tried to find a black guy to beat up for 2 weeks and couldn't. That's incredible. And he just ran out of racism. After 2 weeks, he was like, they're fine, I guess. Because he had no one to be racist to. And I think that's the solution to racism. Just get rid of them. No, you can't clap that, actually. Please don't.
So I was in an airport, and it was Abu Dhabi airport, and I was on my way out of the airport, and when I was on my way out, an Abu Dhabi security guard pointed at me and went, "You come here." Obviously not in my accent. In the Abu Dhabi accent. I'm not going to do the Abu Dhabi accent. Also, it'd be a difficult impersonation to do because we don't really know that much about Abu Dhabi. Like, all we tend to know is it's a corrupt regime and the difference between rich and poor is huge. So I'll just make him English. So the Abu Dhabi security guard pointed at me and went, "You come here." "Hop along, old boy, gonna search your bags, don't mind if I do." And he opened up my suitcase and he took out a bottle of CBD oil. CBD oil, if you don't know, part of a marijuana plant, but it's legal here because it's not the fun bit of the plant. But the way they see it in Abu Dhabi is very different. He went, "Oh dear. Drugs." And I couldn't deny it was drugs because the label had a picture of a dog wearing sunglasses. And at this point, I'm shitting myself because we also know about Abu Dhabi, not very lenient. And the other thing I thought was like, oh my God, because I felt so embarrassed because I thought of all the things to go to jail for in Abu Dhabi, CBD oil. What made it worse, right? It was vape liquid. So uncool, right? I smoke e-cigarettes and I think I'm a fanny. I'd rather get 50 years for having cigarettes on me that were illegal, because at least they'd be a bit sexy, you know. I think cigarettes are cool, man. You can chat somebody out of a cigarette. You can be like, "Hey, have you got a lighter?" "What can you do with an e-cigarette?" "Do you like the smell of custard?" When the Abu Dhabi security guard took the bottle of CBD aside, I'm now thinking, uh-oh, what else is in my suitcase that's illegal? Because I know that that's illegal. I know that I'm illegal. It's the first time in my life I've ever been worried that I packed a twink. And then he took out prep pills. Right, prep pills, if you don't know, right, a couple of people know what they are, right? Prep pills are pills that you can take that stop you from contracting HIV. Oh, I love telling straight people. Because they might not say anything, but you can see it in their eyes. They're going, "Are you telling me the gays defeated God?" It's amazing. You feel so arrogant during sex, couple of pills before, looking at the ceiling going, "Yeah, God, your ill isn't going to work on us anymore. Sorry, Satan, we'll be late." All you need to do is you take 2 pills 1 hour before you have sex, which is a long time to wait in the park, but we're working on that. I find it so weird that people haven't heard about prep pills. Like, it's kind of most gay people know about them now, but most of my straight mates only know about like HIV stuff from like films like Philadelphia usually. Like, if you've not seen Philadelphia though, definitely watch it. It's fucking brilliant. It's an amazing film. It's got Tom Hanks in it, so you know it's good. And anything with Tom Hanks, you always think, yeah, safe pair of hands there, yeah. And it's an American courtroom drama, so you know it's good as well. Because if it's an American court, it's cool. If it's British court, it's not cool. Like, Americans are so much better at portraying court stuff, like, because they make their lawyers seem really cool. American lawyers can wear cowboy hats, snazzy suits, going up to the jury, being like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think we're going to have to listen to the judge on this one. Above all that, we got to listen to Jesus. Or you get that young, aggressive lawyer being like, hey, Your Honor, I object. Yeah. And they did that teeth thing Americans do. Yeah. Like, American teeth are so straight and white, you'd swear their mouth was a Brexit voter. Is nothing like American court, right? Our lawyers, they don't wear cowboy hats, obviously. They wear wigs, which I don't understand anyway, because you're making them look stupid. Surely if you think the person's committed the crime, make them look stupid. Surely we should make them wear a wig. We wouldn't need all this MI5 database stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, who's the paedophile in your area? Oh, the guy in the pink afro. And what about the blue afro? Oh, that's the terrorist. Yeah. Much better way of working it. And our lawyers, they don't wear snazzy suits. Our lawyers wear gowns, and they don't even say, Your Honour, right? They say, My Lord. Which makes every crime in UK court sound as if it was just a wee bit naughty. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord, he murdered everybody. I don't know what we're going to do with him, my Lord. May I approach the bench? My Lord, if I was you, I'd find the defendant sexy. Sentence him to 10 minutes inside me. Don't worry, you'll only serve 5. Especially for bad behaviour. I was like, why are you taking my prep pills? And the Abu Dhabi security guard was like, oh, well, HIV is illegal in Abu Dhabi. And I was like, first of all, I'm thinking, HIV is illegal in Abu Dhabi? I'm like, who's smuggling AIDS? If there's one thing you just wouldn't hide up your bum. And when he put my prep pills aside, right, I'm thinking, oh, is there anything else in my suitcase? He didn't look for the rest of it. He just went, go into that room over there. So I went into the room over there. And it was a big, long room with lots of different cubicles in it, but none of the cubicles had toilets in them, just handprints on the wall. You had exactly the same perception I had at that moment. If you go into a room and there's painted handprints on the wall, there's only 2 places you can be. Either bum search area or a nursery. Thank you for laughing at that joke. I generally get really nervous whenever I tell that joke. Because the first time I said that joke out loud was to my partner, and his reaction was, what kind of fucked up nursery did you go to? We've all had the same experience, right? In nursery, you put your hand in the paint and then you put it on the wall, yeah? Oh, okay, cool. I'm not mental. Good, okay, cool. I don't know, maybe it's because he's posh. Like, oh no, we didn't do that in my nursery. No, we did watercolour. It was fantastic. You can probably tell the difference of our accents because I come from Scotland and he comes from money. Because I'll try way too hard on dates that I'll do stupid voices to try and make them laugh. And like, I'll be like, hey, when I met to my house with Kermit the Frog, it'd be really hot. Oh yeah, oh, and Miss Piggy, you'd be there as well. Oh, Miss Piggy will be there. She gets right up, which is hard. Do you know the Muffin Man? On a date though, a guy told me he was a massive Lord of the Rings fan, right? And when he told me that, I was like, I'll save Gollum for dessert. And when he said, Larry, I've got to go and get my taxi, instead of going, oh, before you go and get your taxi, if you love Lord of the Rings, you'll probably love Gollum, like Smeagol. And instead of doing that, though, because that would have been quite cringy, I panicked he was leaving, so I grabbed his hand and led him to his taxi as Gollum. So the last thing he can remember of me, because he blocked me straight after this happened, was me going,
Come with me, master. Stupid fat hobbit needs to go and get a taxi. Oh, but no. We don't want master to leave us. Precious master, don't abandon your Smeagol.
And halfway through doing it, I looked up at him and I thought, no, he's not finding this funny. I thought it's going to be weirder if I stop halfway through it. Like, too much of a change.
Master, please don't leave. No.
Nice meeting you, man. Let's do this again sometime. Alright, man. No, it's alright. No worries at all. You go pee.
Master, please don't leave. No, master, please. Stupid fat hobbit. Go to the bathroom in order to use the ring.
Double meaning on the word ring. But sometimes I'll do gigs, right? And I've done quite a few, which they will not be able to comprehend that a gay relationship can have the same dynamic as a straight one. They'll be like, what? A man and a man being the same as a man and a woman? No. Which one of you stays in the kitchen all day? Few of those gigs, right, spring to mind, but one in particular, right, because it was, at the time, probably the worst gig I'd ever done. It was about 7 years ago, but it ended up being the best gig I've ever done, right, because I lost all my confidence after it, and I was going to give up comedy, and my agent was like, before you give up comedy, why don't you speak to that nice Irish director loads of people use? And that's how I met my best good friend Paul, because he started directing my shows, and then we became best friends from there. So weirdly, I'm really happy I did a horrendous gig, because I got my best friend out of it. But it was a gig in Halifax in Northern England land, and it was a British Legion gig. Good. You could all book comedy better than the person that booked for that gig. I have no idea why they thought I would be a good shout for that one, right? And I was on stage, right? And I was going all right. And then I started talking about my boyfriend at the time, but I didn't even say, like, anything. It was just kind of...
I live in London now. Chiz had a great introduction to England, because on the flight over to England was a hen party from a place called Essex in England. And these were not good people, you know. These women were so drunk, they didn't realise they were on a flight, you know. They were so drunk, at the start of the flight, I genuinely heard the pilot make an announcement over the loudspeaker, and one of them said, the music's fucking shit in here.
The music shit change it, I don't like it. But she seems to like it. She's dancing, she seems to like it.
It was the woman doing the fucking safety demonstration, right?
She seems to like it.
Right? That's my impression of an ex-woman drunk. Right? So I'm sitting across from three of these mad fuckers. They're sitting here, I'm sitting here, and one of their friends comes up to talk to them from another row. Just waddles up to talk to them. About fucking nothing, by the way. She just comes up, all right, girls, what's it like down here? It's all right, what's it like down there? Same, really, same. And in that moment, as an Irish person, it was the first time I understood Brexit. You know, like, I was like, that's right, these are not Europeans, you know, like, these are not descendants of Da Vinci, for fuck's sake, you know? So, they're stupid. And, so, next thing, your one was standing up, she's standing here, I'm sitting here, and she turned to me, and she did the most ignorant thing to me, but in the most beautiful way. She just turned to me and she went, sorry, babe, do you mind if I just... And she sat on top of me. Are you listening to what I fucking says? Now, I'm like most of ye. I'm from the south of Ireland, not the north. So this was my first experience of English oppression. You know, like, if I'm honest, I could feel myself becoming a terrorist. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, we need to unite this country. 6 counties, I want them back. Like, I could feel a balaclava growing around my face, you know. Turned out just to be her back hair. But, oh, she was a hairy fucker, she was, yeah. But sure, you really think about it, that's exactly what England did to Ireland historically, isn't it? Exact same thing. They just drunkenly looked across the Irish Sea and they just went, sorry, babe, do you mind if I just... And they sat on top of Ireland for 800 fucking years, right? Then finally the War of Independence, we were like, get the fuck off us!
And they were like, we're going.
But they didn't fucking go, did they? They just scooched up a bit, the bastards, right? Now that's a very clever geographical joke, so don't worry about it there. I could see the bewilderment. Yeah, they didn't fucking pay for these. I didn't pay to think, that's for sure, ain't you? Yeah, fucking idiot. I can kick you as well. I don't know, it's great being in Dublin. Jeez, you meet some characters here as well, man. I was back here a couple of months ago. I was on Dublin bus, a beautiful transport vehicle, and stunning, you know. And I was on Dublin bus, and I went back down to the back of the bus, and there was this owl lad down there, and he was drinking a can of harp. Now, if you don't know harp, it's that kind of like liquidized depression, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I would describe it. And I made the big mistake of making eye contact with him, right? And he just shook the can of harp at me. He said, would you like a drop of harp? And I said, fuck it, yeah, go on, you know. I was like, I'd forgotten my earphones, you know what I mean? I was like, this fucker can be today's podcast, you know. So anyway, I sat down beside him and I immediately learned some very interesting things about him, right? Like, for one thing, this was not his first time drinking harp. And I know that because he told me. He said, I've been drinking harp for 30 years. Am I right or am I wrong? I was like, you fucking look right, you know. You look like you've been playing a harp with your face for the last 30 years, to be honest, you know. You do not look well, my friend, you know. And he said, yeah. He said, you're a good young fella. Am I right or am I wrong? I said, by God, he's right again, you know. I said, that's 2 out of 2. I started to think, has he ever been wrong, you know? And then next he said, listen, I have to tell you something. And this I was like, oh, Jesus, don't tell me he's my real father, you know. That'd be a nightmare, you know. I said, what is it, right? And he said, oi, I'm a member of the IRA. And I didn't know what to fucking say. So I just panicked and went, nice, right? And then he just goes, nice, yeah. But then that gave him like confidence. And he just said, hey, would you maybe want to be a member of the IRA? And again, I was like, fuck it, yeah, go on, you know, like, I'm not doing nothing else today. Let's unite the fucking country, you know? And that was it. I was in the IRA, you know? And I have to say that being in the IRA, it felt very, very similar to not being in the IRA, you know. Almost identical, I would say, you know. But it was fucking exciting though, because it turned out, get this, that my first mission as a member of the IRA was to give this lad money for more cans of harp. That was my first. He said, you're gonna donate to the cause. Am I right or am I wrong? I said, first one you've got wrong all day, you cunt. He's human after all, I said, you know.
Man, it's so good to be back in Scotland, to be honest, right? Because I started the year, went over to Australia, went over there to do like Melbourne, Sydney Comedy Festival and that. Very exciting, right? It was a big deal for me. It was the first time I got to go to another country to do comedy, right? Which means it was the first time I ever had to fill out a working visa to get into a country, because usually I'm just going on holiday. And it's very scary, that form, to get into Australia, right? There's loads of questions. The big one is, they really want to know if you're a criminal, right? So it's like, have you had any prior convictions? And they're all there, right? Burglary, everything's there, right? And I'll be honest, you know, given the history of that country, I genuinely didn't know if they wanted me to tick yes or no. I was like, oh, fuck it. I didn't want them to think I'm a pussy. Put me down for an assault. Get my rep up a bit here. The guy at the border was like, this assault? Was it racially motivated? I went, yes. And he was like, I'll get in, mate. The first place I landed in Australia was Perth, right? And if you've never been, like, Perth's big thing is that it's the most isolated city in the world, and it fucking feels like it. Right? And because of that, you know, in this country, if I say the word junkie, right, immediately what you think of is a heroin addict, right? That's our thing. We're very good at it in Scotland, right? We made a film about it, right? We're class at it, right? Now, the thing about heroin, of course, it's a horrible drug, very scary, right? But the good thing about it is it does make the people that take it very docile. You know what I mean? You didn't really feel like getting up too much after a good batch, you know? The problem with Perth is it's so far away from anywhere else that, like, none of the cartels bother to go there. So there's like no heroin, no cocaine, nothing like that, right? But what you can make anywhere, if you've got a kitchen, is meth. Right? And I know I've framed that in such a way that sounds like I'm going to be like, and if you stay around to the end of the show, I've got a great recipe. But meth is everywhere, and if you've never been around meth, it does not make people docile, no. Meth heads are up for a wee adventure. Couldn't believe it, man. The first time I got to Perth, I was wandering around the city centre and I was like, oh my God, this city has so many silent discos. Then I was like, wait a minute, none of these people are wearing headphones. And I think that guy's bleeding. So that was the first place I went, right? And of course, if anyone's been, you know, it's a 24-hour flight. You land, you're upside down, the water's going the other way. You don't know what time it is. You don't know if it's New Year or New York, right? So I landed at about 7 p.m. Perth time, right? My agent had organised for me the next morning at 6 a.m. to be on a local Perth radio station to promote the shows that I was there to do, right? So, of course, like, I don't know what is happening. They're very nice. They sent a taxi to the hotel to pick me up. Right, I just got in it blindly. It could have been the fake taxi for all I know, you know? I don't know if I was going to get pumped or dropped off, you know, like... But I got in. But anyway, I get to the station, it's all nice. They're being really nice to me. They get me coffee, they're making me feel dead comfortable and that, right? And what I didn't know, I'd never done live radio before, but it makes sense, you know, when they're bringing you in to do your live interview and that, they have to play a pre-recorded bit of radio while they're getting you set up. But when you're in the studio, you can't hear that, right? Someone can hear it in their headphones, but you can't hear it. And what I had no idea, they were playing this pre-recorded kind of interview debate piece about the Australian women's football team, right? They call them the Matildas. And it was quite a heated debate thing. I had no idea, right? So I get brought in, and it's a female presenter on the thing, and she brings me in, she's like, I'm joined here by Scottish stand-up comedian Connor Burns. He's doing some shows in Perth, but before we get to that, Connor, why do you think women's sports isn't taken seriously? Excuse me? I thought you were going to ask me if I miss Iron Brew. Didn't realise I was here to fix the gender pay gap. I would have revised, you know? And you know what? She saw that I was panicking and starting to squirm a bit, and she was fucking loving it. She was like, a stand-up comedian lost for words, first time for everything on. I was like, fuck! My career was disappearing in front of me, right? And I'm convinced in my panic, I came out with the single worst possible answer to that question anyone could have said, right? I just started to panic. I was like, I'll watch women do anything. She looked at me, she was like, Then I panicked again. I was like, no, like, I'll watch men as well. I'd been in the country for less than 12 hours. I've just told thousands of people on morning radio that I'm a peeping Tom. I'd done 4 shows in Perth, not a single woman came to any of them. Apparently it wasn't safe. Just a bunch of angry guys. It was like an Andrew Tate convention. It was sad. I really did enjoy my time there, man. I got to do some of the best gigs in my career over there as well. They really spoiled me. I got to perform at the Sydney Opera House, right? Yeah, I know. I'm very working class, right? And I'll be honest with you, as a working class person, there's a wee voice, you know, when you get a big opportunity like that to play at the Opera House, there's always that wee voice in your head that's just going, who the fuck do you think you are? Do you think these people give a shit what you've got to say, really? Right? And I started to get nervous. I was freaking out. It was being filmed for Australian TV. I was really starting to get nervous, right? So I went and found one of the other comedians who was also going to be on the show, and he's a mate of mine. And I went, mate, I'm freaking out a wee bit here. All right, I'm starting to get to myself. And he went, oh, Connor, you know what's wrong with you? Right? And I always stick around for the end of that sentence. Nothing like being diagnosed by someone who I also know is mentally ill, right? He was like, you know what's wrong with you, mate? He went, you've got imposter syndrome. Right? Have we heard this? Because it used to be, if you were shite at something, rightfully, you were ashamed of yourself, right? But, you know, don't let lack of talent hold you back now. But I'll be honest, I was quite excited when I found out that I had imposter syndrome, right? And I was like, this could be good for the brand, shift a few tickets, you know? I was excited. Plus, I'll be honest, I thought, well, maybe I can get myself a disabled parking badge here. Because I live in the centre of Edinburgh, fucking nightmare trying to get parked through there. I went down to the DVLA office, right? I went in, the guy was like, what exactly is the condition that you have? And I went, oh, buddy. I'm actually struggling right now with imposter syndrome. He went, and you think that entitles you to a disabled parking badge, do you? And I went, oh, to be honest, mate, now that you've put it like that, I kind of feel like I don't even deserve to be here. He went, Connor, this is one of the worst cases I've ever seen. You park wherever you want, son. I loved my time in Australia, man. I really, really did. Has anyone here been to Australia? Couple, nice, man. Well, maybe you will agree with me here. The thing I loved about Australia is I got to experience something over there as a Scotsman that I've never experienced here, right? I got to be exotic. And I'll be honest with you, it's class, right? Because they love the Scottish accent, right? But by way of making some noise, anyone here who isn't Scottish or that, do you find the Scottish accent sexy? You know what the fucked up part is? I actually agree with you. I think it's all bullshit that Hollywood has like tricked women into thinking that Scottish accent's sexy. Because I know my girlfriend's American. She was all excited when she first came here. She's like, I'm gonna fall in love with a Scotsman. Like the idea of a Scottish accent, there's not one. You know what I mean? Imagine being American, coming over here, love-struck eyes, and being like, I want to meet a nice Scotsman. And you end up getting shagged by some guy for Fife. Say, oh, I keep going like that, I'm going to kick in my breeks, eh? That's a mood killer, that. You know what? My agent specifically asked me not to make any of the jokes in this too Scottish. Because she's like, we don't know what part of the world people are going to be watching it. But I was like, I'm keeping that one in. Because the idea of someone in like Tennessee watching this and be like, what the hell is kicking my breeks? Sounds a little fruity to me. It's not just Scottish that gets like a wee leg up from Hollywood as well. I think Hollywood's done a lot of good for Irish as well, right? Because the Americans aren't always like, oh my God, Irish guys, oh, it's so sexy, it's so hot. Right? I cannot think of anything more sexually terrifying than going to bed with someone with a Belfast accent. Just put your trousers next to mine. Lay back, I'm gonna blow you away. That's scary. By the way, has anyone seen that viral video about the taxi driver in Belfast? Has anyone seen this? Oh man, it was nuts. So this taxi driver is also like a bit of a gangster, but he drives taxis on the side, right? And he picks up a guy, and unbeknownst to him, the guy gets in, and it's a guy that owes him drug money. Right, so the Belfast taxi driver goes into his glove compartment and takes out a handgun, right? Forgetting that his cab is being filmed, and starts shaking down this passenger, right? And it starts out dead scary. He's like, you know you owed me that money. I've got half a mind to drive you down here and take your kneecaps, lad. Right? But then, the reason I love this clip is it turns into the most Irish back and forth you've ever seen in your life. Because it starts out dead scary, right? And then eventually the guy in the back starts to cry. And the driver just goes, sure now, there's no need to cry. We all make mistakes, lad. Pull yourself together. I'll give you another fortnight, but then I'm coming for the kneecaps. Oh, wow, how reasonable. But it's great, man. Having the Scottish accent, it's absolutely nuts over there. Like, they really do like it over in Australia. Like, I was wandering about one day, just in Sydney, right? And this woman came up to ask for directions. And she's like, excuse me, do you know the way to Darling Harbour? And I'd been, so I went, oh, no worries. I just go to the bottom of the street and then turn right. And she went, oh my God, are you Scottish? You know, I was like, oh, here we go. You know, because I'm not a piece of meat. It's like, why do they never ask me how I feel? I've got a long-term girlfriend, right, and like I was not over there trying to catch any snapper, right? That's not my modus operandi. So I was over there and I was like, I don't know how to deal with flirting, I'll be honest, because I've never been flirted with in this country, right? Because I know what I look like. No the best-looking guy, no the worst-looking guy, just aggressively plain. My best mate summed it up perfectly. He was like, Connor, do you know what you look like? Do you know when you start playing a computer game? You get your character. But you haven't changed any of the settings yet. So you look like player one. Right? So I'm not used to being flirted with, right? And Aussie women, they're very direct with their flirting. I couldn't handle it, right? And I love my girlfriend. I wasn't going to do anything stupid. So I came up with a wee plan, right? Anytime an Aussie woman started flirting with me, I would just nip it right in the bud by pretending to be South African. Nah, I like South African people, man, they're good people, but you got to admit, that's an unshaggable accent. It's too percussive and angry, it's scary, you know? Like, you imagine she asked me for directions, like, excuse me, do you know the way to Darling Harbour? I'm just like, yeah, no problem, I can take you there myself, Why are you running away? I'm trying to help you. Come on, take me back to your place. Maybe I can shoot you through the bathroom door. I'll just let that one digest. And by the way, to the one or two sick people that tried to start a round of applause there, I love you with all my heart. Although that is a scary joke to get a clap on, right? Because it's very dark in here, and part of me is like, oh my God, maybe he's here and he's running towards me, you know? That might be his wee spatula feet on the tiles. I looked him up recently, Oscar Pistorius, not like in the yellow pages, like, hey mate, what you doing? Because like I was quite young when all that happened, and I knew like he was a horrible guy. I knew he killed his girlfriend, but I didn't know that much about him, right? Obviously he's a sprinter, so fast in the Paralympics that they put him into the Olympics, right? Unbelievable. Anyone know what Oscar Pistorius ran 100 metres in? 10.9 seconds, which is rapid, legged, but unlegged. Unbelievable. Unheard of, right? And I was going down on this wee wormhole looking this stuff up, and then I also discovered the fastest female sprinter of all time, right? Anyone know what she runs 100 metres in? A wee bikini. To be honest, that one's kind of just for me. No, I looked it up. She runs it in 10.7 seconds, right? She's 0.2 of a second quicker than Pistorius, which is amazing. Very, very impressive, right? But like 0.2 of a second, that's not much, right? That's like, you know, a bad start, a wee slip, a sneeze, right? And the fastest woman of all time running full pelt could still be overtaken by a guy with spatulas for feet. Now, I'm just presenting you with some information. But I'll be honest, when I read that, the first thing that popped into my mind was, you know, maybe, just maybe, that is why women's sports isn't taken seriously. Right, I understand the women are a bit pissed off now, right? I'm just messing about. This is a God's honest truth. I made all of the numbers up there. None of that's true. The fastest female sprinter is actually an entire second quicker than Oscar Pistorius, but you didn't care about that. You believed me. Because I'm a man. All right? And I want to be clear, sisters, I think that's fucked up. But it doesn't make it any less true. All right?
Or if you've come to see me on tour before, you might have heard me talking about having a kid in the middle of COVID. That was a wild time. But I think any time I'm learning is a wild time to have kids. You know, there's no normal time to have a kid, no normal experience of having a kid. Like our first time, oh my God, I was so stressed. As soon as my wife told me we were pregnant, I packed a bag, like straight away. And like 2 months before we were due to give birth, I left it by the door, just ready to go. I tried to be like the best birth partner I could be. I even had, like months before the due date, I had a Spotify playlist preloaded for the car journey there, for me driving my wife to hospital, with Scandinavian spa music. Did he just say that? Scandinavian spa music to just relax her and for me to get in touch with my roots. And then I was reading all the books. I was trying to be this thing of, you know, people talk about you gotta be super dad. That's what I was trying to do. And the second time, because we had our 1-year-old like 12 months ago. How does he do it? Straight away with that. I'm always nervous the first time I do something, and then when I've done it, I'm like, you know what? We know what we're doing. Second time my wife told me she was pregnant, I was like, that's brilliant. I didn't freak out. That's amazing news. I said, see, this time, we've been there. We've done it. We've given birth before. Thank you. said, so this time, I'll have a bit of fun with it. I'll be a bit more laid back with it all. We know what we're doing. She said, what do you mean? I said, no, I just mean last time, it was that was a long 9 months. For you as well. I'm counting you in that, right? For you as well, for sure. My wife said, what do you mean? I went, listen, we'll enjoy it more. We'll be a bit more laid back. And I adopted a far more laid back policy to the birth of my second child and tried to make that rub off on other members of the marriage, right? Not one in particular. But the people who were less open to banter last time. Case in point, my wife's having contractions with our first child, getting ready to go to the hospital. It was my job to note down when the contractions were. I started having fun with that after about the third one. You gotta have it. I was downstairs, she was upstairs in the bath. She was having all these contractions. She'd be like, another one. I'd write it down. She was like, another one. About 10 times she did it. She said, another one. I said, DJ Khaled. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Begrudgingly, about 6 months later, admitted it was decent banter. I said, thank you. I said, I tried to be more laid back to the point where one day, and it was like a week before the due date, My wife said that to me. She was like, listen, here's the due date. I wrote it down. I put it in my phone. Hey, I'm setting that day aside. No problem. Because that's what we've agreed. Will be the day that we have the baby. Actually, okay, mate, thank you. Actually, don't mind telling you, set aside a day either side of it, right? Because I'm like that. But like a week before we were due to give birth, we're at home. Now, my wife was having a lot of naps, a lot of baths. She was upstairs pretty much the whole week. And I did take that week off work because I had become obsessed with, I don't know if you guys have seen Below Deck on Netflix. With peaked reality TV, unbelievable. I got what is it? Crew of a luxury yacht going around the world getting up to all sorts, let me tell you. All on the high seas. Incredible. I'm watching episode after episode. She's upstairs, so I have the run of the house to myself. I'm watching that in maternity leggings mainly, is what I'm doing. Right, for solidarity. Because I'm like that. And another reason I'm wearing maternity leggings is because when you make a wee cup of tea when you're watching like Below Decks or just whatever you watch on Netflix, because it's so easy watching streaming service nowadays, isn't it? You just hit one button, boom, you're in. Yeah? Just wants to know one thing. Who's watching? Me. My wee cartoon thing. It knew it was me anyway, right? You get in. So convenient. And when I'm back and forth making cups of tea, sitting in my chair watching Below Deck, the maternity leggings, oh, perfect. A few biscuits in the lining. A couple of gluten-free hobnobs slipping in there, no problem. I'm having the time of my life. I love it. And one particular day, I'm watching the season finale, season 1 of Below Deck. I'm having a great time. This is brilliant. About 10 minutes before the finale ends, I do what I always do. Any season finale, I hit pause. People always go, if I'm watching it with someone, they go, what are you doing? What are you doing? What do you mean? It's about to be over. I say exactly. And I do the thing I always do 10 minutes before any season finale ends. Bonus cup of tea. Try it. The adrenaline rush. Pause. Bonus cup of tea. See where that kettle's boiling? You're just going, what's going to happen? It's all going through your head. You're reliving the best minutes in your head of season 1. Incredible. So I'm doing that. Come back in, couple of biscuits, go to sit down in my chair for the season finale. I lower myself into my chair, getting ready, just Netflix, you one button, no pause, no rewind, it knows where you left off. Let's go. Just get in my chair, set my tea down, hit play. At that moment, my wife walks into the room, unannounced. Keep that in mind for the next 10 minutes when you're on her team. She said, we need to go to hospital right now. This baby's coming. Now, the first time she told me that with our first child, I remember the exact moment, and I was in the car before she finished the sentence, getting ready to drive her to hospital. But as I say, second time is a bit more laid back, and also finale. She said, we need to go to hospital right now. I said, yeah. I said, oh, 100%. I said, yes, but I said, I think I remember reading in the books with the first child, do rush to hospital straight away when you think it's coming. But with the second one, I said, nearly sure it said, don't be afraid to take. take 9-10 minutes and go to your sister's house. It's next door, it's convenient, right? She said, we need to go right now. I said, you're right. That's the kind of guy I am. Turned it off. I said, you're right. I said, you want me to give you a lift up? Yeah? You want to lift the hospital right now? Is that what you're telling me? I'll drive. I'll give you a lift. Something like that. Who drove last time? Me. Back in the hot seat again. Because with her first pregnancy, I drove. But I had to explain to her. I drove first time. More than happy to do it again. Delighted to do it again. I drive us up, of course I do. We get in the car. She's sort of like, deep breathing. She's got her hands on the dashboard. She's uncomfortable. I can tell that. So I get Spotify. Boom. I've got it loaded up. Not the Scandinavian spa music this time. I hit play on something else. She's like, oh, can you turn that down? I was like, oh, what? She goes, oh, just turn it off. And I was like, this is for you. To be fair to her, it was my podcast, right? And that's on me. I said, this is a good episode if you were given a chance. Funny. She wanted me to turn it off. We get up to hospital. Half an hour later, it's the same hospital we went to the first time. We get up there. It's the same midwife. Brilliant result. We feel more comfortable. We know her. She knows us. She walks out. I've got the bag in my hand. Let's go. Midwife walks out, stops us at the automatic doors in the maternity ward. She said, listen, I'm really sorry about this, but if you remember from last time, we're going to do this the same. Mum, we're going to bring you in for a quick 5-minute examination. Dad, you wait here. It's like, first of all, I'm not your dad. You're 47. Again, apparently a no banter zone, right? She didn't like it. You just take this very seriously. I'll say that. No. All right. It's all right. She said, Mom, you come in with me, quick 5-minute examination. She said, Dad, I'm really sorry. You're going to have to wait here outside the doors of the hospital for 5 minutes. Is that okay? I said, hey, take 9. You girls take your time. I'm kidding. I wouldn't watch the last 9 minutes of season 1 finale up below deck outside the automatic doors in the maternity ward because a lot of the mothers nearby were being quite, quite rude. So I couldn't. I said, it's not my day. It's not my day, apparently. Put the phone away. That's going to wait another day. That's out of my mind. Wait there for 5 minutes to come back. My wife has a face like thunder. I said, is everything all right? She said, listen, baby's not as far on as we thought. We sort of jumped the gun a bit. I said, all right. And the midwife went, listen. She went, Dan, I'm really sorry about this. I said, what's wrong? She went, the maternity ward's packed upstairs. We don't have many beds. It's very warm. It's crowded. But we want to keep Mum in and observe her on the ward. I said, no problem. I'll bring the stuff up. She went, She went, unfortunately, we still have some COVID protocols in place. The midwife said, they're like lovely. She went, this isn't my call, but unfortunately you can't come. I said, what does that mean? She went, well, listen, we'll do it the same time as we did last time. We'll give you a call an hour before we think the serious labour is going to start, so I guarantee you won't miss the birth of your child. But you're just going to have to go away and just wait all day. I said, fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. All day, probably. I can't come up here as a roasting up there and all, yeah. Fucking Brexit. I didn't know if it had anything to do with it. I honestly, it just felt like it was right to say. No worries. Got the fucking CGI in her for the next 3 minutes. You should have more control in your relationship. Don't let her go next. You're a cock. If that was my wife, you think I'd let her go to the toilet? Give me your Jack. And now we wait. What's weird is how I don't look weird in this. Everyone's looking at me being like, that fucking works for him, and that's wild.
I tried to stop her going.
3, 2, 1. But, that's nuts. Can't believe you say that, Kyle. You can't drop an M-bomb in 2024. But, because people will think it was me. You can't say that. It's from Zara. Midwife's like, you just have to go. I said, I am not doing that. Midwife said, hey, we don't want a hero. She said, I don't want you going and sitting in your car like last time, going over to visitors parking. You did that with the birth of your first child. 24 hours you were over there, you're not doing that again. I was like, hey, it's 36. And the reason I know that is, I don't know if you ever sat anywhere with nothing on, because I couldn't have the car radio on in case the battery died. Couldn't have my phone on in case I missed a phone call to go over for the birth. I don't know if you ever sat anywhere without any devices or anything on for more than, 6 minutes. It gets weird. It gets really weird if you're sitting in the passenger seat of a car that's not on. One arm out the window for 36 hours. A man walked his dog, walking past, going through the hospital car park to a field behind, and gave me the weirdest look. He's like, what the fuck's that guy doing? Just sitting there. And I gave him one of them, right? I said, how you doing? The weirdest thing about that is the next day, 24 hours later, he went to do the same walk, and the same guy was just... I said, I'm not doing that either. I said, I'm not doing that. And I said, what are you going to do? I said, listen, instead of me going all the way home, I would be prepared, right? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not a hero, right? Here's what I'm going to do. What's a quarter of a mile down the road, right? Other side of the road, you can see it. What's over there? Hotel. I said, I would be willing to book myself a suite. If they don't have a suite, there's other hotels, right? Because I'll go further into Belfast if I have to. I said, I'll book myself a room in that hotel across the road from the hospital. So if you need me, instead of being half an hour there, half an hour back, what about I'm 1 minute away? I'm right beside you. My wife didn't like it. Oh no, the hormones going, all that kind of thing. She said, oh, you can do it. You're good to yourself, Hotel break for one? Oh, what? I went to defend myself. The midwife went to speak. I said, oh no, it's going to be 2 on 1. Out of nowhere, the midwife goes, Dad, it's actually a great idea. My wife went to say something cheeky back. I went, oh no, your wee mate just said. So that's a great idea. A wee hero beside you. By the way, I'm still clapping for you. Every Wednesday night, people think I'm mental. I'm still doing it. Wee mate Florence Nightingale there thinks I'm a pretty cool guy. My wife didn't like it, but she said, you know what, I kind of understand. So just go. I said, listen, I'm just going to be on standby. That's all I'm doing. She went, okay, just go. We part ways. I get over to the hotel across the road. What am I going to do? I see a button on the TV remote in the room. It's got the N logo on it. I'm about to watch the last 9 minutes of season 1 finale of Below Deck on Netflix. Get the phone call, bring my second child into the world, get us home in time as a family for season 2. What a day. This is magic. What a day this is going to be. I'm buzzing, right? I get in there, get the hotel TV remote, boom, turn the TV on. At that moment, I get a phone call from my wife. I only left her a minute ago. Right? I said, I answer it, right, because I'm like that. I said, you alright? She said, what are you at? I said, nothing. I'm sitting there with a towel around my head, right? I hadn't even had a bath or a shower. My hair wasn't wet, but I was like, why not? I said, I'm just sitting here waiting for you. She said, well, listen, good news and bad news. I said, tell me the bad news. She said, baby's not ready. And there's other mothers here who are closer than me. I said, what's the good news? She said, well, listen, it's amazing. Instead of sending me all the way home to wait, they're gonna let me come and stay with you in the hotel. Isn't that amazing? I said, yay! Girls' night! Woo! Mocktails! She said, I'm ready now. I said, you want me to come pick you up, or what do you want to... What are you thinking here? What do you want to... What's the move? Because you could probably see me. I'm not close. But look out the window. You probably see that's me. And I look at... Hey! What do you want to do? You want me to come pick you up? Probably take me. That's a one-way system up there. I get stuck in the backlog for visitors parking. I'll be all day. Or you could take a chance in those 4 lanes. There's 4 lanes of traffic there. You could make it. Like, you make that easy. If you get a jog on, you make that no problem. Strong, independent woman like you make that no problem. So I went to pick her up, get her back to the hotel room. I'm thinking she's just going to want to talk about the birth, all that sort of thing. And, hey, that's my job. You know what I mean? I'm there to just be the birth partner, listen to her, help her with whatever she needs. We get into that hotel room. My wife plays a blinder. She said, listen, I'm really sorry about this. Do you mind if I just have a bath and zone out and close the door? I said, okay. Don't know what I'll do, but okay. Run the best bubble bath I've ever run in my life. USB tea tree light candles around the bath. Oh, nice touch. Not all of them worked. They were from the birth the first time. I didn't know you had to recharge them, but still, thought was there. Get her into the bath, help her in. I realised at that moment, though, I'd been selfish, right? Because I'm thinking about below deck, and I'm not thinking about my wife. And last time I did a lot of positive reinforcements, reminding her how strong she is. And I realised I hadn't been doing that. So I knew I needed to deliver one of the best ones. And I decided to go off-piste. I did one that's not even in any of the books. I just came up with it. Because I knew I needed to let her know in that moment how strong she is and how much I appreciate her. I walked out of that room, sort of closed her eyes in the bath a bit. I said, hey, who run the world? Straight into the room, WhatsApped her, girls, right? Just in case she didn't get it. I don't know if she got it when I said it, right? Because I was out there too quick. I didn't give it. She said, what do you mean? I closed the door. But I WhatsApped her because I'm like that. And I said, girls, I get into that room. Here we go. You know what it's like. You want to watch Netflix nowadays? You hit one button, you're in, knows where you left off. And I only have 9 minutes left of this finale. Let's go. Sit down in the hotel bed. I've got the remote. Let's go. Hit that Netflix button. This is where the drama starts. It brings me to a screen that I have not seen in a long time. Because I've had Netflix for 12 years. It brings me to a login screen. And this is the point where I realise this isn't my one. This one doesn't know me. This is a hotel one. It's not my wee mate too. What do you think? Do you want to watch that? Get in here. Right? It's asking me for an email address and a password, and I haven't had to put that in 12 years because I'm automatically logged in on all my devices. So I've got the big, it's like big old chunky hotel TV remote. Not a brand I'm au fait with, right? When was the last time I had a Toshiba? So I'm sort of under a bit of pressure. I want to just hit the button. I could have been 2 minutes in, but I'm sort of faced with this obstacle and I'm about to go through a bit of drama. And it's asking me for my email address, and I'm putting in my full email address and going between the letters and the numbers and trying to find the wee @ symbol, and under a wee bit of pressure. And eventually I type in my full email address, and at the end of it, it's taking me like 10 minutes, I write .com. Now normally I'd laugh about that, right? I find that hilarious. I go back 1 space to change the N to an M, delete the row. Get the email address in under serious pressure. At this point my wife shouted in, I'm uncomfortable. I said, hey, we're both getting it tight, thank you. Sweating. It's asking me for my password. I do not know my Netflix password. I don't know any of my passwords. Automatic login. It never changed them. It's asking me for my password. So I go, okay, I just want to watch my program, right? I go, yeah, send me the link. I go, yep, we sent you the link. I'm looking at my inbox. I'm not annoyed. I can't even put an eye in front of anything, right? I'm in my inbox, right? If I'm in my inbox, I'm annoyed. But it's not in my inbox. And it says it is, and I go, do you want me to send it again? I go, send me it again, because it's not here. What's peeking out of my junk like this? The password link, guys. I know my wife's about to go through an ordeal, but I'm in the middle of a manual password reset. I've got the hotel TV remote. I've got my mobile phone out. I'm also realising that you don't just reset a password, do you? It's not that easy. I don't have it easy either in this day. I'm having to create a WhatsApp group for my family called Netflix Password Change to let them know, because they rely on my Netflix login. So I'm having to compose a fucking paragraph. Sweating, I've got the hotel TV remote and warm in the room, having to write this message in. Hello everyone, just to let you know, new Netflix password, he ping ping 123, capital H, capital P. Eventually I get in, and that's the moment my wife chooses to walk out of the bath, hotel bathrobe around her. We need to go, this baby's coming. Now I'm not even going to try and watch a program or say anything. I know we need to go. So I take the remote and I say, yes, no problem. I just need to. She went, leave it. I said, no, but I just literally need. She said, just leave it. I went, oh. She threw the remote. We just had to go. 5-6 hours later, I'm sitting there. My second child on my lap. He's looking up at me. I'm looking at him. My wife's just drifted off to sleep. Lovely ambience in the room. Midwife comes up to me. She says, just checking in. Is everything okay? Which I thought was a lovely thing to do for the birth partner. Yeah, not just a mum who's been through the birth, but to come up to the birth partner. She said, is everything okay? I said, nope. No, thank you. She said, what's wrong? And she said, listen, I can see you're not crying. She said, I remember you crying the first time with your first child. She said, don't be nervous with the second one. It doesn't always come straight away. She said, I remember you crying with the first one because it was excessive. It was weird. We're still talking about that because I thought I was just going to do like cute crying, like a few wee tears. I was doing like ugly curb. 3 a.m. sitting on the curb saying, he's not worth it. Crying. That's eyeliner and taco sauce crying, right? She said, don't be embarrassed. It doesn't come naturally the second time. You might cry in a day, a week, a month. It can come in a delay. I said, it's not that. She said, what is it? I said, it's just, no, it's nothing. But she didn't say anything. I said, it's just someone, right? Her. Rushed me out of the hotel room earlier. And she went, oh my God, did you forget something really important? I said, I don't even know how to say this. I said, I didn't have time to log out of the hotel Netflix account. So she said, I'm what? And I said, I'm what? I'm what? I said, I'm still fucking probably, I'll be logged in, like I'll be still logged in. I'll be logged in over there, my Netflix. There'll be people in that room, in it, you know. In it, you know, there'll be a new family in that room, probably some German family or something. You know, tourists, you know, they come on, they're not going to take the time to log out of my account to log into theirs because they'll know, no offence, but Frank, you wouldn't understand, but how difficult it is to log in the first place. So I'm sitting here, you know, then at this point, he's annoying me, right? He's just... Oh no, he's the city centre rat guy. So he's just, you know, right, so he's doing my head in. I said, that's the thing, I've had my Netflix for 12 years. We've built up a relationship, knows what I like. You know what I mean? Suggest things for me. I watch him, they goes, what about that? And I go, oh, why? I've had Netflix for 12 years, I've only been going with her 10. Do the maths, okay? I said, what's the problem? I said, they'll be over there, some German family. Fuck, my head was gone. I said, what if they're over there watching like German daytime TV soaps? Yeah? I'm going to get home, try and enjoy being a father, try and be like happy for this, but my Netflix is going to be going, oh mate, do you want to watch Coronation Strasse? Head's gone, like head was fucking away. And you know, in the hours after that, everyone was texting me, you know, in the family group, you know, how is it, any news? And I was like, yeah, not good. I said, the baby's fine, the algorithm is fucked. People go, how is the baby? I was like, I don't know, I live in the hotel across the road from the hospital, I haven't seen him. But things are good now. Thank you. Just season 3. And it only gets wilder, let me tell you.
Fuck, man. I really struggled during lockdown, man. I fucking went crazy. I peed myself one night. Peed myself. I was up late at night. I was watching a Netflix documentary, not the Magic Mushroom one. It was another one. Has anybody seen this? It's called My Octopus Teacher. Have you seen this? Did you like it? You're shaking your head. No, you did? What did you like about it?
It's quite short.
It's quite short. Is that why you like me? If you haven't, this guy likes it. If you haven't seen it, it's a documentary about this guy who's shagging an octopus, right? They never show you him shagging it, and he never says he's shagging it, but you can tell. You know, he's always like, it's about this guy who like goes to see this octopus every day of his life, and it's like changed his life. He's like, every day I go down to the coral reef and I see the octopus, and he brushes my nipple with his beak, and he puts his tentacle in my belly button. Yeah, like he's 100% shagging that thing. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know? Do you know what made me dislike him though? There's a bit in it where they're interviewing him and he goes, "Before I met the octopus, I had nothing in my life. But then, now I see the octopus every day, and I know who I am." And then it cuts to like an interview with that guy's wife and child. And they're like, "We can fucking hear you through the wall." Like, what the fuck? You know? But I fucking know what he means, man. Sometimes it's a silly thing that gives your life meaning, you know? I know my octopus was stand-up, man. I was 18 years old in Magaluf. Nobody wanted to even look at me. Never mind touch me, you know? And then I came home and I went to uni and then I fucking dropped out because I went mental. I didn't know who I fucking was, man. But then last month of being 19, I signed up for a stand-up thing in Glasgow called Red Raw. It's like a beginner's comedy night at the Stand Comedy Club. And I went up, you only get 5 minutes in front of 200 people, and you go up, and I went up, and I only lasted 3 minutes, and then I ran out of jokes. Do you want to hear one of my first ever closer? Yeah, it's not good. You know, I went up there and I was like, imagine me, 19, right? Just somehow even more like a fetus. And I was up there and I was like, "Oh, I really don't like being alive just now, because nothing's changed. You know, the issue I have is I find it very difficult to grow hair on my face, you know? I'd really like to have a mustache or a beard, but I don't have one, you know? And it really frustrates me because I have a very hairy arse. You know, I mean, I can't grow anything up here, but down here it looks like I've sat in a vat of wallpaper glue and got a rim job off Chewbacca. Pretty good for a first joke. Yeah. And honestly, I still can't grow a beard, and the arse is worse. So I went up, 3 minutes, came off early, host was raging, he had to like fucking run back up, you know, and then I was like, "Oh, that felt amazing to do that, man," you know, and I went down to the Kelvin Bridge subway station next to the Stand Comedy Club, and I was just standing there on the platform, and I was just like buzzing, felt alive for the first time in my life, man. I was like, "This is amazing," you know, and then this girl came up to me, and she was like, "You were really funny," and I was like, "I'm gonna do this every day for the rest of my life." And then I did. For like 7 years, like every chance I could get. I went to Canada to do stand-up. That's how I found out about the goof thing. I went to Australia. That's how I got together with my girlfriend. Like, it completely changed my life. And then lockdown came. Couldn't do stand-up anymore. So I thought I was happy. I didn't like myself. I just liked my job, you know? And it was illegal to do stand-up during lockdown. It was illegal to do stand-up in lockdown. Indoors. You could do some outdoor shows. They were hard. Did anybody go to a drive-in comedy show? No. Nobody went. They fucking sucked. That's the thing I like about stand-up is like, I'm a person, you're a person, like we're sharing a wee moment together, it's nice. Like, we shared a moment, you like that documentary about the guy who's shagging an octopus, you know? Like, you're from Brisbane, you know, we're all just sharing a wee moment together, do you know what I mean? It's like a snowflake that's fell out of the cloud and landed on your tongue and it just melts forever, you know, unless you captured it on film. But a lot of times you don't. You know? See, when you're doing stand-up and there's no people there, it's just cars. Felt like I was doing a private show for Lightning McQueen's stag do. It was so impersonal, man. You know, it's just headlights coming back at me. I tried to make it more personal. I was like, "Oh, give me a honk if you've ever had mental health problems." Just one guy in a Citroen Berlingo, like, honk, honk. Wasn't even an audience member, just an Uber driver who got lost. And I went home after the drive-in show, went to my bedroom, watched the documentary, fucking pissed myself. I I remember, I don't know if you ever disassociated. I floated above myself on the couch and I looked down, I saw me watching the guy with the octopus, and I looked down at myself and I saw this big damp patch. And I was like, what the fuck's happened there? And I like went, like Doctor Strange, just like back in my body. And I like touched it and it was warm. I was like, oh, it's pee. And I smelled it. I was like, it's pee. I was like, what am I going to do? And I was up late at night. Basically, me and my girlfriend, my Australian girlfriend, we were taking life in shifts. She was waking up at 7, working from home 8 to 5. I was waking up at 4 p.m, staying up till 6 in the morning. You know, it wasn't good. And she was asleep to get up for work in the morning, and it was like 3, 4 in the morning. I was pissed. And I went through to my bedroom, and I was just digging around in my dirty washing trying to find just a clean pair of clothes, but I hadn't done the washing in like 6 weeks because couldn't bring myself. What's the fucking point? I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. You know what I mean? I was just like, fucking hell, man. My girlfriend woke up and she was like, oh! You know, because she's a parrot. You know, she just woke up and she went, oh, what's going on? I was like, I've peed myself. She was like, oh no. She went back to sleep, man, you know. I was like, I didn't know what to do, you know, and it's hard because there's a big waiting list to speak to people, you know, but I was like, fuck it, man, you know, that's what they say. They say, just talk to someone. That's what they say, just talk to someone. I think they should change that to talk to the right person. Don't just talk to anybody. Some people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I have these pals, right, and they're like keto people. They're like the gut-mind connection, you know. They're always talking about like don't eat bread. I said to my pals, like, I'm really fucking depressed. And he was like, have you tried cutting bread out of your diet? I was like, I don't think that's going to help the fact I don't love myself. And bread's the only thing fucking keeping me going, you know. I ended up talking to my mum about it. Jesus Christ, man, she doesn't know me, you know. It's my mum. You know, she brought it up. Basically, when you could go around to your mum and dad's again, I went around with my girlfriend, and me and my girlfriend went to my mum and dad's house. My girlfriend and my dad stayed in the house. Me and my mum went to go pick up some Chinese food from a place in Bailson Main Street called Tiger Lee. If you're ever in the area, phenomenal salt and chili chicken balls. And we were driving there, and I was in the passenger seat, and my mum was in the driver's seat. She was driving, and she went, listen, I've been speaking to people in my work, and they say that apparently now you need to talk to your kids about mental health, and I don't know anything about that because I grew up in the 70s and we don't talk about stuff like that. But, you know, your girlfriend told me that you peed yourself. And then I told everybody in my work that you peed yourself, and they think I should talk to you about it. I was like, okay, Mum, a lot of what you said makes me quite upset there, but yeah, you know, I'm not doing too good with the old mental health. I just don't know who I am. You know, I've lost my job. And she was like, well, I know where you're coming from. And I was like, how would you know what I'm talking about? You work for the taxis. You know, she works for the Glasgow taxis on the phones. And then I remembered, oh, my mum would know what I'm talking about. My mum was a hairdresser. That's how she met my dad. But then one day in the early 90s, just before I was born, my mum woke up one day and she was allergic to bleach. So she just couldn't be a hairdresser anymore because it was the 90s and everybody was getting, you know, highlights, you know? Like what do you do, Australian guy? What's your job?
I have a pub.
You have a pub? Imagine you woke up one day and you were allergic to drunk cunts, you know? Oh, you are? Fuck, man. You know, it would be tragic, wouldn't it? And it was tragic. And I was like, well, how did you deal with it? She was like, you just got to move on with your life and you got to find things to love about yourself that isn't your work, you know? And I was like, oh my God, this is fucking beautiful, man, you know? And I thought, okay, I've had a lovely chat with my mum about this. Ended up speaking to my dad, man, you know, and he's a hairdressing goth biker, you know? And I had to have a chat with him. He's old school, man. He's an old school guy. And I was really scared my dad was going to die during COVID. I was really scared because he's not exactly the best breather in town. You know? He's a wheezy guy. Like, do you know the penguin for Toy Story 2? He's like a wee wheezy guy up on the shelf, and he's like, that's what my dad's like. He's asthmatic. Is that right? How would you say asthmatic? Just asthmatic sounds like a fake arse. Got the asthmatic if you want to try it. Like, just no. My dad's asthmatic, right? And he's even worse than that. A couple of years ago, he had pleurisy. You know, that's how old-fashioned he is. All his diseases are Victorian. You know? He had pleurisy, which is this weird illness where your lungs fill up with liquid, right? And he drained them, but the drainage left scarring. So he's like, you know, he's a terrible breather. And then who shows up in town? Fucking Johnny Coronavirus. The disease that kills cunts that can't breathe, right? I'm like, my dad's a fucking goner, man, you know? And then one of my friends' dads died just before COVID, and he said to me, do you know, one of my biggest regrets is I never told my dad I loved him enough. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to be the fucking difference here, all right? I'm going to break the chain of male suffering. I'm going to tell my dad I love him. So I went round my mum and dad's house again, another Chinese. That's pretty much all we do. And I showed up at the house. My mum went, you better go see your dad because he's in a bit of a bad mood. And I was like, fucking hell, man. This must be bad, because he's always in a bad mood. And I went through to the room. He was sitting there in a dressing gown, or a house coat, depending on what you call it. He was sitting there in his dressing gown, and he was watching Stargate SG-1. And I knew something was up, because that's his happy place, you know. He was sitting with his arms folded. I was like, what's up with you? And he was like, I've been a hairdresser for 30 years and now I can't even go to my work because of this fucking pandemic. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. He was one of the guys who refused to wear a mask, like a proper mask, so he would wear like a visor. It's like, you're not fucking welding, you know? The disease isn't sparks. And I don't think enough fuss was made about this. Why was nobody talking about the hairdryer during COVID? That thing was shooting hot air. It's like a ray gun. It's like a sci-fi hot disease gun. You know, I was worried about him, man, you know, and he was like, I'm fucking been a hairdresser for 30 years, now I can't even fucking do it. I don't know who I am anymore. And I was like, I'm in the exact same fucking boat. We had a great chat about it. And then I was like, I've softened him up, you know, a couple of body blows. Working the kidneys. You only have one kidney, but softening him up, man. Now I'm going to fucking tell him I love him. So after the Chinese, we were watching like Master Chef or something, and he was like, I fucking hate that bald guy in this. I was like, okay, he's feeling better. You know, and then I went to leave, and then me and my girlfriend were leaving. Went up to my mum, gave her a cuddle, kissed on the cheek, went, love you, mum. And she went, love you. I went, all right. Went up to my dad, and then gave him a cuddle, gave him a hug. It's very different. Cuddle's more like, you know, whereas this is more like diagonal. A hug's that's like a sash, you know, for a beauty queen, not the Orajada, right? A mayoral sash. I gave him that, and I didn't kiss him on the fucking cheek, right? I leaned into him, and I went, love you. And he just fucking shook like a wee bus. He went, hit me with a big and I was like, oh my god, that is just as good as an I love you, you know? Because I knew what he meant by that. He was vibrating so hard I could telepathically understand him, you know? He was like, you don't need to tell me you love me. I know you love me. I don't need to tell you I love you. What we do is, once you leave, I tell your mum I'm proud of you, and then she tells you, all right?
Yes, sir, we've captured something we thought you might want to have a look at.
Okay.
It's right through that glass.
My God. Do we know what it is yet?
No, sir, we've never seen anything like it before. But it appears to be calling itself an actor.
An actor?
Yes, sir.
What the hell's an actor?
We don't know, sir. Our men picked it up this morning waiting tables in Donnybrook. We think it could have some military value. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 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 Do, re
The tongue, the teeth, the tip of the lips. Leo Varadkar. Leo Varadkar.
What the hell's it doing? I don't know, sir. It does this every morning for 15 minutes and then it demands honey and lemon.
Does anyone have a lozenge? My throat, it yearns for a lozenge.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it contagious? Yes, sir. It is, but only to people who don't want to get a real job.
Actor, this is General Walter Blake. Who are you?
You mean you don't know who I am?
Don't play games with me, prisoner.
Oh, I'm your prisoner, am I, General? Well, who have you really captured? Is it I, Richard Chanley, the world's greatest actor? Or perhaps all you've managed to capture is a grieving Italian man? Mamma mia, I'm so sad. Look at what you're making me do.
Jesus Christ, he's a completely different person now.
We don't know how he's doing it, sir.
Perhaps, General, all you've managed to capture is an overly excited German man.
Sweet Mother Mary of Jesus, that's so accurate.
I know, sir.
Or perhaps, General, all you've captured is a tree.
Goddamn tree now!
I don't understand how he's doing it, sir.
Swoosh, swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh.
This is swooshing!
He's swooshing,
I can see it swooshing!
Swoosh.
Sir, I don't know how he could be swooshing. There's no wind in that room.
God, the Germans get a hold of this, we're screwed.
Yes, sir.
The military applications are endless.
I know, sir.
Actor, how did you obtain this power?
Darling, you don't obtain it. It's acting. It's in the bones.
All right, have his bones removed and examined.
Yes, sir.
Now, he must have some sort of weakness.
Yes, sir, he does. We've discovered a way to make him feel pain. Watch what happens when I play this particular sound.
No! Please don't make me go back there. I can't, I won't. You don't know what you're doing. If you're looking for car insurance, you've come to the right place. Here at Donkey Insurance, we have thousands of offers. You'd be an ass not to visit. Oh, please. Please make it stop. Oh, God, I'll do anything. Even panto.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, yes, I will.
No, you're gonna come work for us, actor.
Oh, a job.
And I've got the perfect mission for your skills.
Herr Kommandant, we have the Allies in the palm of our hands.
Yeah, the men are ready and willing. Nothing will stand in our way.
We cannot let the Americans infiltrate us once more.
We must be very careful this time.
Herr Kommandant, do you hear something?
Mine. Well, all I hear is the swooshing of trees.
But don't you find it odd, the swooshing? Given we are in a submarine?
Well, we're all very welcome along now to Vienna, Austria, here in the Royal Concert Hall. Very exciting. Of course, today we're auditioning for the 1822 spring program. Whiz bopper. Now, up first we have a musical duo. Ludwig von Beethoven and Barry.
Hallo, guten Tag.
Ah?
Ich heiße Ludwig von Beethoven.
Ah, guten Tag.
How are you? I'm Barty.
Super.
How's it going?
Very good.
Together we are
Beethoven and Barty.
Ludwig van Beethoven und der Barry.
Okay, wunderbar. And what exactly is it that you do, Beethoven and Barry?
Good question.
Yeah.
Now, listen, right. Beethoven here, he does be doing a little bit of piano. Do you know what I mean?
Guilty.
Yeah. And I do be doing the lyrics, you know, spitting the rhymes and all that, you know what I mean? Pew, pew, pew. Dropping truth bombs everywhere, you know what I mean? Fucking bullshit. Fucking What?
Okay. That's unusual.
Yeah.
But, progressive perhaps. And why is it you think you should perform here in the royal court of King Francis I?
Well, now listen, you know what I mean? Like the Austrian music scene is dead.
Yeah. Auf Wiedersehen. Don't let the door hit you in the arse on the way out.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, well, you're obviously a very confident young man. I should say that tonight, during the judgment for this musical audition, it will not just be me alone. No. Very exciting. I didn't want to tell anybody about this. We have Northern Ireland's most incredible export, the greatest conductor ever. Yeah, I'm talking about Dorothy. Incredible. Wunderbar.
Oh, die Dorothy.
Very exciting. Oh, wow.
Oh my God, he's so excited. I'm totally fanboying right now.
Yeah, of course. So, without further ado, if you are ready, we would love to hear what you have.
Okay, I will my piano be collecting. Entschuldigung.
Yeah.
Very good. This is very exciting. Barry?
Yeah.
How's it going? Oh, good, danke schön. Yes, I was just about to say, if you have any vocal preparations, now is a wonderful time for that.
Huh?
If you wish to do a vocal warm-up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beethoven and Buddy.
Entschuldigung,
Okay.
piano coming through. Okay.
Okay.
First, have to power on my 18th century piano. Give me the red light like a good boy. There we go. This first piece that we'll be playing as Ludwig van Beethoven und der Barry is called the Moonlight Sonata. And it's a banger.
Okay. Well, whenever you're ready.
Moonlight Sonata by Ludwig van Beethoven und der Barry.
Wow. Yeah.
I am hungry for a biscuit. They're tasty and crunchy. They go in my tummy. Biscuits are nice. I like to eat them. Thank you.
Super!
Yes.
1, 2, zusammen.
Okay, danke schön. That was very unusual, I suppose.
Danke.
Two very different styles.
Yeah.
I would say, not enough from me. Dorothy, how did you feel about this performance? It was very good.
I knew you would say that! Oh my God, die Dorothy! You spoil me.
Okay, I'm not. Well, look, okay, I'll tell you what. Because Dorothy
don't
has
like
given
it?
you the backing, I will ask for one more piece. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just this? Yes. Have you got one?
Yeah, we got the Fifth Symphony one.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Absolute chewing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Total tune.
Oh, very good, yeah.
The Fifth Symphony by Ludwig van Beethoven.
Yeah.
This is the Fifth Symphony by Ludwig van Beethoven und der Barry. 1, 2, 3.
I want a biscuit. I want a biscuit. I want a piggy to be eating on my break. A chocolate piggy, it could be a duffel cake. A chocolate piggy and a tea. Chocolate piggy, cup of tea. Chocolate Barry's pirate tea. On the Mickey. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Kein Schmecken.
Dankeschön. Yeah, that was weird. Again, about biscuits. I would like to hear this piece again. I do think there's potential in it, except this time I would like to hear it without lyrics. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. They are tuning the organ in the next room, and sometimes the sound it does bleed in through these walls. Yeah, but is that okay?
Yeah, we can play it again. No words.
No words, without just as an experiment, okay?
Okay, crazy science man.
Okay, Dankeschön. I think this will be for the better.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, Dankeschön. No, we're cool now. No, guys. Okay, Beethoven. Barry, thank you. 9. Okay. Okay, this is the part of my job I have to. Okay, Beethoven, I think you are incredible. Okay, I think you have so much potential for what you are doing on the clavinova.
Oh
Wonderful,
my God.
very exciting. I see a big future for you within music. Barry, you're shit, okay? And I hate to say it. Okay, that sounds in tune. Thank you very much. We're going to leave it there. Thank you.
I'm not shit.
Well, you are a bit in shit.
If anyone's shit, he's shit.
Was?
Yeah, come on, like, you know what I mean?
I'm not scheiß.
I'm carrying this ship here. If
Du
anyone
bist scheiß. Du bist doppelscheiß.
You're double choice.
Yeah.
No, you're triple choice.
Doppelscheiß.
Double choice. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. Listen, come on here. Are you deaf?
Not yet.
How do you get that joke and you do not get this joke? Unfathomable. Where's your level, audience? Okay. It does not. I'm sorry, but I just. It is not really gelling. I
think apart from that woman, I think that you should leave.
Okay, easy on the organ, guys.
Oh, you know, I don't need this. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah. Learned a bit of German, didn't I? Yeah.
Wow.
Du bist ein gross fucker.
Oh, okay,
So, yeah.
okay, no.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Barry?
Yeah. Took him 5 symphonies to come up with a decent one.
Okay, Barry.
Joker.
That
You know
is
what I
not
mean?
nice.
You should have had the first one. Useless.
Okay, Barry, please. Barry?
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Barry, thank you.
I'm gonna have to leave now, though.
You too.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was
so awkward.
And did you get the smell of alcohol from him?
I think he was guzzling on the job.
Guzzling?
Yeah, guzzling. It's a verb. Look it up.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, ich guzzle. I guzzle. You guzzle, du guggelst. Wir guggeln. Sie guggeln. Sie guggeln. I will guzzle. Ich werde guggeln. But not now, because I'm not thirsty.
Wow. What is I would guzzle?
Ich würde guggeln.
Wow. Very good. Your command of the language, incredible.
Dankeschön.
But look, I think without Barry is the way
Oh
forward
my
for you
God,
as a
I
solo.
will flourish.
Yeah.
He was a negative influence on my life.
Yeah.
Always eating all my food. I open the refrigerator in the morning and he is eating all of my milk, all of my Orangen, all of my Äpfeln, all of my burgers.
Oh, not sein Burgers.
Yes, the burgers are all gone from Barry. Gegobbling all the burgers.
Oh, gegobbling.
Yeah, gegobbling the burgers and geguzzling my Orangenjuice.
Wow.
He's a Schwein. He's a Schwein in the trough of my refrigerator with his snout geguzzling. I've gone too far.
Yeah, well, maybe not. It sounds like he was really bringing you down.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah. The future, I think, Ludwig von Beethoven by himself, you know?
Do you know, because it worked for Mozart when he got rid of Mihal.
Yeah, for sure.
It didn't work.
Yeah, no,
Just a
it flopped.
clash of styles. And always about the biscuits.
Why always about the biscuits?
I don't know.
Very strange. But look, I think I would love to hear what you can do. Do you have anything you have written by yourself?
Yes, I have one piece left that is the favorite piece that ich habe ever gewritten. Shut up. This piece is called Für Elise.
Feliz?
Yeah.
Well, please. This is very exciting.
Für Elise bei Ludwig van Beethoven und Herr Yamaha. Not now. Für Elise bei Ludwig van Beethoven.
I would like some cake and custard cream.
I